Greetings Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and explosive factions in Hero Wars, Alliance, the Way of Nature. The Nature Heroes have always stood out as a faction that thrives on disruption, control, and sustainability. They heal, they root, they poison, and when built correctly, they create some of the most dangerous combinations in the Dominion. But here's the catch, building full nature teams is not as straightforward as with some other factions. They don't just brute force their way to victory, they work through synergy, timing, and devastating combos that can wipe out even the most dominant meta teams if you know how to unleash them. So today, Guardians, we're going to break down the top 5 nature teams in Hero Wars, Alliance. These aren't just random collections of heroes. These are carefully crafted lineups that maximize the strengths of the nature faction. We'll analyze their offensive potential, their defensive reliability, the unique role each hero plays, and how these teams can stand tall against the current meta. Strap in, because this is going to be a wild ride through the forests of Dominion. Let's get started. Team 1, Mushy and Shroom, Alvanor, Mojo, Oya, Yasmine. This lineup is the definition of nature synergy. It has everything: control, sustain, damage, and burst. Mushy and Shroom are the core here, summoning endless mushrooms that not only clog the battlefield but also scale their damage over time. Add Alvanor to the mix, and those mushrooms become terrifying. His second skill, Runes of Life, doubles all nature healing, which means Mushy's mushrooms heal faster, Mojo's spirits give more energy, and suddenly your team has a sustainability engine that's very hard to break. Mojo adds not only extra healing but also control with his cursed bones and hex damage, punishing energy gainers like Dante or Lars. Then comes Oya, the shield breaker, who drags enemies out of position, marks them, and deletes tanks with her overwhelming strikes. And finally, Yasmine, the dagger in the dark. While the rest of the nature team disrupts and heals, Yasmine is free to leap, poison, and shred the backline. This team thrives on offense. It dismantles defenses by dragging enemies forward, stacking poison, and slowly overwhelming them with mushroom copies. Against tanks like Julius or Astaroth, Oya breaks shields, and Yasmine poisons them down. On defense, it's less reliable because Mushy and Mojo need time to build momentum, but if it survives the opening burst, this team snowballs into an unstoppable force. Team 2, Dark Star, Oya, Chaba, Mushy, and Shroom, Mojo. This is the ultimate nature control team, designed to frustrate and suffocate the opponent. Chaba starts things off by swallowing the enemy tank or frontliner, removing protection and giving his allies a chance to go straight for the soft targets. Dark Star plays her role perfectly here. With her black arrows, she marks enemies so that Oya and Mushy's mushrooms deal even more damage. And every time she knocks back an enemy, she creates chaos in the opponent's formation. Mojo provides his usual mix of healing and control, while Mushy's mushrooms swarm the battlefield. Oya then capitalizes on marked targets, pulling in the weakest enemies and tearing them apart with critical hits. What makes this team shine is its crowd control loop. Dark Star disables buffs, Oya burns energy, Chaba removes a tank, and Mojo punishes energy gainers. The enemy finds it almost impossible to get into rhythm. On offense, this team plays like a scalpel, dismantling lineups piece by piece. On defense, it can catch attackers off guard with the sheer amount of control. It doesn't always win fast, but it drags fights into long battles where nature's healing and disruption grind the enemy down. Team 3, Alvanor, Mojo, Mushy, and Shroom, Thea, Aurora. Now we switch gears into a much more defensive lineup, the Sustain Wall of Nature. Alvanor once again serves as the backbone, boosting all nature healing, and granting defensive runes. Mojo keeps the healing engine going with his healing spirits, and Mushy's mushrooms add both control and damage over time. But here we at Thea, the Sanctuary Witch, to give the lineup even more healing, and silences against enemy mages. Her Solar Sanctuary combines with Alvanor's magic defense boosts, making this team incredibly resilient against magical heavy comps. Aurora rounds out the lineup, bringing dodge, shields, and rainbow bursts that punish magic damage. With Aurora in the front line, this team becomes extremely frustrating to deal with for enemies that rely on spellcasters like Orion, Lars, Krista, or Celeste. On offense, this team lacks the raw burst of Yasmine, or Oya, but it slowly strangles opponents. On defense, it is a nightmare, healing endlessly while silencing and punishing magic attackers. It's not a team built for speed, but for reliability. Against the right opponents, it's nearly unbreakable. Team 4, Oya, Yasmine, Dark Star, Mojo, Alvanor. This lineup is about aggressive synergy. Oya and Yasmine together create a lethal assassin duo, and with Dark Star marking enemies and boosting nature damage, the team becomes brutally efficient. Oya drags in weak enemies with hunting, setting them up for Yasmine's dance of death. Dark Star ensures that marked targets take 40% extra damage from nature allies, making Yasmine's poison and Oya's crits devastating. Mojo provides healing and energy boosts, while Alvanor ensures the team stays alive long enough to execute its burst combos. The strength of this team is its ability to target and eliminate key enemies quickly. Against backline threats like Iris or Lars, Yasmine makes quick work of them. Against shield-heavy teams, Oya breaks them down. And with Dark Star marking multiple enemies, the damage scales across the entire field. On offense, this team can overwhelm meta comps by deleting priority targets one after another. On defense, it is riskier, because if Yasmine dies early, the team loses much of its bite. But when it works beautifully, often leaving the opponent wondering what just happened. Team 5, Ninja Turtles, Aurora, Mushy, and Shroom, Mojo, Thea. And finally, we bring in the fan favorites, the Ninja Turtles, to create one of the most chaotic nature lineups. The Ninja Turtles are disruptive by design. They jump in, out, and all around the battlefield, stunning, knocking back, and splitting enemy focus. When combined with Aurora's rainbow shields, Mushy's mushrooms, Mojo's healing, and Thea's silences, the result is controlled chaos. This team is all about disruption. The turtles scatter the enemy, Aurora shields and reflects, Mushy clogs the field, and Mojo plus Thea keep everyone healed. The sheer number of control effects makes it nearly impossible for the enemy to get any momentum going. On offense, this team works like a blender. The turtles dive and stun, Aurora deflects spells, Mushy spams mushrooms, and Mojo hexes enemies. On defense, it can be unpredictable but very effective, because the turtles' random dives and control effects throw off attackers. It's not the cleanest or fastest team, but it's one of the most fun to watch, and one of the hardest for unprepared opponents to handle. And there you have it, Guardians, the top 5 nature teams in Hero Wars Alliance. From the healing engines of Mushy, Mojo, and Alvanor, to the assassin power of Yasmine and Oya, to the chaotic dives of the Ninja Turtles, the nature faction offers versatility, control, and resilience. These teams may not always look like the traditional meta picks, but underestimate them and you'll quickly find yourself on the wrong side of defeat. So what do you think, Guardians? Which nature lineup is your favorite? Have you tested these teams in Arena, in Guild Wars, or even in Asgard? Share your thoughts and your own team compositions down in the comments. I want to hear your stories and strategies. And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Olympus Alliance, and ring that bell so you never miss a guide, a team breakdown, or a faction deep dive. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.